Hi guys, welcome back. Today we have Chris Thompson.
What's going on?
Chris is very impressive resume here. He is a realtor. He's from Western Maryland. He's a realtor for 18 years. Wow, you have seen some stuff, haven't you?
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. He's with Remax. He's an investor and a leader in the Subto community and specializes in long-term rentals and flips. Welcome, Chris.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me, Shannon.
You're welcome. Thanks for being on the show.
Glad to be here.
So, tell us about how you found Subto. How did you find Pace and when did you join?
May will be 2 years since I joined, and being in real estate for so long as predominantly a realtor, I got in at the end of 06 as the market just took a nosedive, and then 2020 and 21, the market shot up. So I knew something was going to change. I just didn't know exactly what. And that's when I went to YouTube University and found Pace, studied him for probably 30 hours, made the call, and joined up right after that because I liked everything I heard. Came in with a complete wrong mindset. I was like, oh, this is going to be easy. I've been doing this forever. I'll be retired in 6 months. I was quickly humbled. It took me 6 months to do my first deal because I had to retrain my brain on all the creative stuff. And I thought I was creative before, but now all the tools that I have in my tool belt, it's night and day. I'm actually getting ready to close my first client on a sub-2 deal. It was brought to me as an investment. The numbers didn't work out for a long-term rental, but it works out perfectly for buyers I've been working with for 2 years and have not been able to find them anything. Now their payment's going to be $500 less than if they went retail.
Oh, wow. Wow. So I was gonna say, yeah, when you said you thought, you know a lot about real estate and this is going to be easy and you had to retrain your brain. I can't tell you how many times, because I'm a realtor too. And
Right.
I was thinking, oh, this is great. I know about real estate. And I got in and I was like, whoa, I had to literally retrain.
Yes. It was trying to cram, and we always talk about it as drinking from a fire hose, trying to just absorb all the information, but then also trying to understand how it all works, because especially as realtors, we're taught to stay inside this tiny little box. And if you go outside the lines, you're going to get sued and lose everything, which after you've been doing it long enough, you know that that's not true, but that's essentially what they teach you is, stay inside the box and do everything the way we tell you to, and you'll be fine. Don't blur outside the lines. Versus creative, it's as long as it's legal and everybody agrees to it, you're good.
Yeah. And it is legal. Yeah.
100%.
That's how I got, I discovered Pace the same way. I find that most of the people either find him through Instagram, Bigger Pockets, or YouTube, one of those three. But I also was going to search for something around, I don't know, was it 2021, 2022? I think it was 2022. And search something on YouTube University, because you can learn how to build a house on YouTube University.
Yeah.
And Pace popped up and I was like, hello, what's this? And when I started listening to him, I started going down a rabbit hole, listening to him all day. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I felt like the Mandalorian. Oh my gosh, this is the way. And that's how I got the Baby Yoda with this one too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then when he was saying less than 1% of creative finance, of what he can teach in creative finance is on YouTube, I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, and I was blown away. I was like, there's no way. It can't be that deep down a rabbit hole. I was wrong.
Yeah, I was thinking he's given us so much information already. How much more can there be? And
No,
oh
no.
my
And one
God.
thing he always talks about in the private Zooms are, you know, YouTube is for education and information, but everything inside the Subto community, that's where all the meat and potatoes are. So it was like, if the free stuff was this good, how good can the stuff inside be? It's completely transformed and changed my life for the better. And I'm extremely grateful.
Yeah. And we learn so much more. I mean, real estate is the crux of what we do,
Right.
but he just addresses every single facet of our professionalism
Mhm.
and just humanity in general. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's 100% top notch. And honestly, it just keeps getting better. I haven't been super active lately because I've been just in the streets working on so many different things. But one of the things I heard around December, he's like, I'm on step 8 of my 21 step plan. And I'm like, I gotta go hit the streets and just get some more stuff done and stop sitting here absorbing everything because my brain already hurts.
right. I mean, yeah, I thought it was like 26. I thought I heard 26 at one point. Maybe it was him or somebody else, but can you just imagine? I mean, if he
If this is what he's already achieved so far and helped so many other people achieve as well, like, what else is there? Like, clearly he has it figured out, thankfully. But in
I
the same
can't
way,
wait to find
right?
out.
No, and it's like I'm still like 3 things. I'm on step like 2.5 still, and you're way. I was like, I got to scale back and get off the fire hose for a minute, just so I can go activate what are already in my brain. Once I'm comfortable with that, then I'll try to take on more. And that was one of my biggest learning experiences. And I try to just absorb everything all at one time. And it's pick, no different than he says, pick 1 or 2 strategies and work with those. When I
Mhm.
first started, I tried 8 different strategies and ended up just laughing at myself. I'm like, you idiot, go back and do what the man says.
Right. Yeah. I mean, totally. They've been there before. If you do what they say, I'm sure they've tried all the things. I know some people, it's just human nature to be like, oh, I'm not going to do it the way they say. I'm going to do it my way. And then they end up going the long way to find out, oh, I should have just did it his way in the first place.
Mm-hmm. And that's
I
what I'm
feel like,
using. That's what
I
I'm using
feel
the
like,
first quarter of this year for, is to fix all of my learning lessons from 2023. There's like, go take action, create a bunch of problems. I took that to heart. I created plenty of problems, and now I have to fix them all. But it's a progression step. And a couple months ago, I finally hit me, and it was like, oh, that's why he said at the very beginning, first find your money, then build your team, then go buy properties. And I'm sure I'm one of a bazillion people that's like, oh, I'm in now, I'm going to find properties. It bites you, and it bit me plenty. So um,
yeah.
fixing all of those bite marks now.
Yeah, I'm completely reminding people because like I have no problem following directions at all, especially from the gurus, right? But my problem comes in with, oh, I forgot about that. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
oh,
was
I
just
forgot. I gotta get the money first.
I was trying to do what you told me to, but then my squirrel brain kicked in and I just started bouncing all over the place.
Oh, I totally have that. I got ADHD so bad. It's
I,
like,
had, I have that plus dyslexia.
ah,
Yeah,
I might have dyslexia slightly.
it happens. And
Yeah.
finally, give or take about a year ago, because I used it as a crutch forever because I believed what everybody else said. And about a year ago, I was like, wait a minute, this is actually my superpower because I see things differently because my brain is wired differently.
Yes.
You always see like the motivational stuff is like, C students are the business owners and the ones that take over the world. I'm like, why haven't I taken over the world yet? I was a BHC student. As soon as I made that transformation, everything's been progressing tremendously.
Yes, I learned that a long time ago. There are pros and cons to every single thing.
Yep.
I mean everything, even the worst things that happen to you, you can find pros about it. when it's all said and done, how much stronger are you? What have you learned? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
crazy.
I mean, sometimes it's horrible going through it, but I mean, there's pros and cons to everything.
Mhm.
So, that being said, sometimes it's like our biggest problem comes in. I mean, we grew up with ourselves, right? So we learned how to master our differences from the way that most people are taught. But
Right.
our problem comes in with we think differently, we think a different way, and we have to try to fit into the way that most of the other people are doing it. And because we're wired differently, we gotta kind of switch gears or whatever.
Yeah, so we got to figure out our own way.
Yeah. And it can be difficult. But
Yeah, but it's totally worth it. I see the book in your background there, Limitless. I just finished that. I've already started reading it again because I know I missed a bunch of stuff. But using a line from Jim Quick, it's not how smart are you, it's how are you smart. I'm like,
yes.
wow, that's
Right.
incredible. That's incredible. Why didn't I listen to that? Why didn't he write that book 20 years ago? And why didn't I read it then too?
Yeah, I don't know when the first one came out. That's the the
Edition.
expanded edition that just came out, and I signed up for it when it was getting ready to be released and
Mhm.
bought that one right before Pace offered to buy us a copy. I was like, Pace, why couldn't you say this a week ago?
Right?
But yeah, and then I got that YouTube Secrets. That's what I'm just starting on right now. But then, got a lot of stuff going on right now. Getting ready to move halfway across the country, and
Yeah.
uh,
So you got quite a few things on your plate.
yeah, I do. But I'll get there.
Mhm.
Um, so um, are you in any other programs in Subto? I know that you are regional leader for Western Maryland.
I'm
I
the
went.
local leader. So yeah, I'm the local leader. The regional leaders are just for the DMV are Jim, Patrick, and Stacy. So I get my like small little niche out in Western Maryland.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I live in Mount Airy, Frederick area. So that's kind of the corner they put me into. But I'm also in Vina Jetty's Multify. Um,
Okay.
I went out to that masterclass. I think it was September, October last year. Incredible. It was an amazing experience. I highly recommend it. I'm not doing a ton with it, but I knew that I had to take the first step to get into it because I want to get it into multifamily.
Mm.
So, knowing that I wanted to get into multifamily, more or less to learn the lingo and start making more relationships and more connections, is the main reason I signed up for that. And another thing I learned from it was capital raise.
Oh,
Thankfully, I had a pretty good knack for that. In December, from everything that I've learned and just the relationships and connections, plus learn everything I learned from the masterclass, I raised 1.6 million in December.
wow. Nice.
I'm still scratching my head on that one. So it's right. But yeah, it was
It works.
everything that I've learned from Vina, everything I've learned from Pace. It has been an amazing experience and just totally worth it.
And you've just barely scratched the surface. There's so much more to go, right?
Well, yeah, there's not even flakes from the scratching I've done yet. So it's the rabbit holes go really, really deep. And ultimately, the relationships and the networking and the connections that I've made are priceless. And those are things that I cherish. I think more than anything. And we always hear Pace talk about work on chase the no, don't chase the yes, and then don't chase the deal, chase the knowledge, the experience, and I forget what word to use, but essentially learning lessons from each deal to take into the next one. I'm like, that it's perfect, and it's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of networking, are you going to the big event that's coming up in April, Squat Up Summit?
I am not going to make that one. I have 5 kids, and 4 of them are in lacrosse.
Ah,
So one of the main reasons I've wanted to get more into investing is for, obviously the passive income, but more so the freedom, because I do want to be around the family a lot more. So I've been doing a ton of traveling, working on a bunch of flips in Ohio right now, which is why I raised that money. Somebody with a big portfolio needed help cleaning it up and needed an operator, reached out to me actually through Instagram. And he's a local guy here. We met up and put a plan together. So I am working on a bunch of flips out there, but I'm out there basically every 3 weeks right now. So building up more and more passive income will then help me scale back from having to be a realtor 24/7. I also do a renovation construction company. I also do property management. I've done some private lending. So I'm trying to scale back from doing 800 things to just 1 or 2 things so that it gives me that freedom to be able to spend more time with my family.
yes, I totally understand. And I'm telling you, speaking as an empty nester with no grandkids, I'm telling you, soak up that time while you can.
Yeah.
It's gone before you know it.
It is. I mean, my daughter just turned 7. I feel like I blinked and I was like, "You were just born yesterday." Oh, you're 7 now? So it's kind of like kick it into high gear, pick up some more passive, and then slow it down a little bit.
They totally help you feel time for sure.
Oh yes, yes they do.
So are you in any other kind of Subto programs? You're in the multifamily.
So I'm in the Subto, multi-fi. Those are really the only 2 that I'm in. I've tried some other ones before, didn't really get much out of them, and they were your typical, buy in, and then here's your 16 pre-recorded videos on how to do everything. Maybe a Discord channel or a Facebook group or something on top of that, but definitely not the community like Subto or multi-fi.
Yeah, community is continuously updating, endless amount of resources and connections and self-development.
Yep.
It's like a never-ending thing for life. I've never seen anything like it.
No, and I mean that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. Is obviously the contracts we all sign say 6 months, but there's some OGs in there that have been there since day one, and they're still there because they keep giving back in the community, and that's Pace's biggest thing. It's like help out, give back, which is why when I got the opportunity for being the local leader in Western Maryland, I'm looking around and like, me? You want me to? I was like, I don't think I'm doing anything, or at least anything productive enough to be able to help people do something. And it's like, no, you care. You're out doing stuff. You're taking action, and whether it's a pro or a con, you're willing to share whatever experience you went through, which is 100% true. So completely honored and humbling at the same time. It's like, heck yeah, it's like a badge of honor. Be like, yeah, I'm a Subto leader. What?
Right. That's the thing about this community though. And I mean, I don't think people understand how much power goes behind the saying your vibe attracts your tribe.
So
And
true.
Pace's vibe. I mean, if you are authentic, if you are, for the most part, honest and good natured and have a big heart and want to help people and are a teacher, all these kinds of characteristics just kind of like gravitate towards this community.
Right.
And it's just like so much more than real estate. I mean, yeah, it's real estate got a lot of us here, but there's so much more. I'm thoroughly convinced that this is Pace's life purpose, and he is a leader of today's day and age, and he is
100%.
over delivering.
Yes,
And
that he definitely is.
we can feel it, and we just love him for it. Yeah, so he's not just helping us, he's helping everybody that we come in contact with. We're
Yeah.
helping to save people's credit. We're helping to save people's homes. We're helping to get them out of bad situations that they otherwise would have had no other way to remedy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my first Subto property was actually going to be a retail client. And basically I was 6 months in, and I went in with 3 different options and then pitched the fourth one, which was Subto. They had a tenant that wouldn't get out and couldn't get out, and just, it was a mother-daughter. So the mom didn't want to file eviction. And I was like, I'll do it. You know, I'll give you X price and I'll give you X down, and I'll take over your loan. And I'll, you know, I understand that you don't want to evict your daughter. No issues. I'll do it. Signed.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yep.
I
And
know
then
that. Go ahead.
the day of signing, the tenant moved out.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't even have to go through the long, drawn out process of eviction. They just moved out.
Sometimes people, it's a shame, but sometimes people lean on family members so much. And if it were somebody else, like I used to be a hairdresser before I was a realtor, and there was a saying that went around hairstylists, and it was, your worst clients are your friends and family. Because
Oh, I have no doubt.
it's so weird that I'm hearing an echo. It's so weird that they that a perfect stranger will trust you a lot more than your friends and family. And it's like,
yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, playing off of that, I am my own worst real estate client. I whine, I complain, I stomp my feet, and I laugh at people that do the same thing as clients. But it's like I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to my own deals. It's like, but why won't this happen? Or why won't ABC or XYZ change this, that, or the other? Because I want it. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm that person I just made fun of 10 minutes ago.
but see, you recognize it. You have
Yeah,
awareness
I
of
myself, and I have a good laugh about it. I'm like, all right, knock it off, go back to work.
it. Right. That's good that you're self-governing like that.
Oh yes, that's thankfully one of my best attributes is, you know, I can have my little self-pity party for 30 seconds and then move on and go back to grinding it out.
Sometimes you just need to let it go in order to release it, right?
I call it the Elsa effect. Let it go.
Oh, the Elsa. Yeah. My kids are all older and I don't have any grandkids, but I know about that show. I know about that movie.
Just gotta let it go.
Yeah. So tell us about the flips. How many flips have you done today to date?
Oh goodness. I would say I would honestly would have to spend hours looking it all up, but I would say probably roughly 50 over the 18 years, and I'm currently working on 15 right now.
Oh wow. Wow. You're working on 15 all at the same time right now.
Well, they're kind of in sync. We're doing 3 or 4 at a time, depending on the severity of them. But I have a crew of 8 working 6 days a week right now. The first one just hit the market yesterday, and already got our first showing on it, our first 2 showings on it. But we got that thing turned around in 3 weeks.
Wow.
So.
Wow. If you have a system and you really know what you're doing, it is a good time for flips because of the interest rates, buyers are super picky. So they want things that are perfect, that are brand new, renovated, and this and that and the other. So
top notch. And in 2020, I thought I was a complete genius because I came up with this program that I called Let Me Help You Flip Your Own House for my retail stuff.
Yes, I think I did hear something about that when I was.
Because I own the renovation company, I was like, well, yeah, I can, you know, we'll take a down payment, I'll finance the rest of closing, and we'll come in and do the renovations, I'll design it, all the things. But then that was, all it is innovation. So I thought I was a genius in 2020 when I came up with the idea, joined Subto, started listening to all the innovation stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is already a thing. I'm not that much of a genius, but I figured it out 2 years before I even knew what it was. So, and again, as a realtor, that's definitely set me apart from most of the competition. And in 2020 and 2021, you blink and anything would sell, but people wanted to get over and over, or they didn't have something that was in great condition and they wanted to be able to benefit more from it. So we'd come in, do most of the stuff was just generally light renovations, carpet, paint, a couple fixtures here and there, nothing extravagant.
Mm-hmm.
And the house would end up selling for a whole bunch more, because ultimately people just want to move into a house and live. They don't want to move in, then have to work on it or stay somewhere else while they work on it. They just want to move in, live, and continue their lives.
Right, because I'm doing it right now. There is so much involved in moving. So you're like,
Yes.
this is enough. I just want to be done.
Right. I just want done. I just want to be done.
And you got to unpack, and oh yeah, it's just too much. So are you still running that business?
I am. We actually just sold one last week or over the weekend. I called it my fix and list program. So we just did one. They took about 5 or 6 weeks on the renovation. New paint, cleaned up the flooring, some new carpets, some new LVP, updated the kitchen. So those are fairly a little bit more extensive. Put it on the market on a Friday, and we were under contract full price by Sunday.
Wow. Okay. Is that most of your fix and flips that you're doing, or are you doing like kind of half and half? Or
well, that was more of the innovation side of things on my retail residential stuff. On the flips, we just got the first one up on the market in Ohio. Prior to that, I did a big novation in Damascus, made a nice chunk of change off of that one last summer. And that actually ended up selling before we even put it to market, because one of the contractors wanted to buy it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The flipping and stuff has always kind of scared me because I don't know anything about construction.
It can be very scary. But
even when you know what you're doing, like you, right?
You have to know what you're doing. You have to have a great team of contractors, designers. I'm extremely fortunate because my wife has an eye for that stuff. So if I have a question on anything, be like, all right, what color, or what about this? Or, hey, honey, I just need you to come walk this thing and tell me what to do. And then I take it, then I come in with my crew and, all right, guys, this is what my wife just told me to do, so do that. And it works out awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. So let's see. Do you have advice for someone that's just starting out in Subto?
Take the advice that they give you. Find your money partners first.
Don't reinvent the wheel, right?
Don't reinvent the wheel. Just
it already works.
Just get in and drive the car. Find your money partners first, then build your team, then start going in and buying properties. Another caveat to
build
that.
Build your team first before you start.
What's that?
Build your team first before you.
Find your money, build your team, then buy. So that way you have all of your systems in place already, and it will make the transition 10 times smoother.
Maybe that's why a lot of people are having a hard time really getting things off the ground, because we come in. I mean, this is such a young community. We're still learning.
Oh, absolutely.
And once we do get it down, we'll teach new people coming in. But we're still, I mean, as great as it is, we're still in the infancy stage. So there's a lot of us who are trying to figure out, okay, I got all the pieces. How do I put them together and start them moving? Right? There's a lot of us who are kind of stuck in that one little spot right there. And we're trying to figure it out. But I haven't, that's interesting because I haven't really heard that before, but some people have bounced the idea off of me of like starting a team. And I'm like, I think we're supposed to do it first and then start a team.
Nope. Start your team first, because that way, and by finding the money and building your team first, you know what markets you're in, you know what markets your money partners want to be in, and most people are going to start in their backyards, which I highly recommend. I branched out of state for the first time after joining Subto in 2022. And it was an eye-opening experience. And because I didn't have my money partners and my team built already, it cost me. I've got it turned around now, so thankfully everything's good. But have that team in place, and one of my, I think, greatest attributes but biggest faults is I trust too much. So, I've always done my due diligence. I'm always going to continue to do it. But as soon as you think you've done enough due diligence, do more. Just
See,
you can never do enough.
That you're very trustworthy, because we have an automatic tendency to believe other people are like us because we really
100%. And it's thankfully it's benefited me a whole lot more than it has impacted me negatively, but it has impacted me negatively plenty. So, and that's honestly a lot of my learning lessons from 2023 of not everybody thinks the way that I do. Not everybody feels the way that I do. So, double check them, triple check them, have somebody else check them before you get into a deal with them. Because,
and as we learn as realtors, trust but verify. That's one of our main phrases.
Yep.
Trust but verify. Yeah. Have that safety net.
Don't get stuck in analysis paralysis, but if you think you've done enough due diligence, you probably haven't. So do some more.
Right. And read the paperwork. Yes. I knew we grew up hearing our, parents and grandparents say, don't sign anything until you read it. And you're like, oh God, it's like 35 pages,
Mm-hmm.
But seriously, read your paperwork. Know what you're signing.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And always have paperwork.
Yeah. Definitely keep your paperwork. On the lending side of things, I now own 3 houses from lending. I didn't do enough due diligence on the property up front, but the one thing that I made sure I did do was make sure I had my performance deed in there. And that saved me several $100,000. It cost me plenty of money, but I have the properties now. So I look at it as I end up just overpaying for a property because I'll make it back over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to be able to be down for the long game.
Yes, and that's one thing that people don't necessarily grasp with long-term rentals. It's for the first couple of years, unless you're hitting like a home run deal every single time, you're going to go negative a little bit. But also you're relying on that tenant to make sure your bills are paid. And if you don't qualify that tenant enough, or even if you do and then life changes, it can affect your bottom line minimally or drastically. So, make sure you have a really big war chest.
Yep.
Make sure you have your war chest. Profit First for Real Estate Investors is another amazing book. I highly recommend that one. And that's since I've started that structure, things are a lot more clear and a lot more focused.
Gotcha. I'm going to have to check that out. Profit First, right?
Yeah, Profit First for Real Estate Investors. I think it's a whole series and it's on different things, but the one for real estate investors I read and really liked it.
Yeah. So you also have a podcast, don't you?
No, not yet.
I thought I saw a podcast, Office Hours with Chris.
Yes. So being part of the DMV, we do office hours. So it's really not like a podcast per se, but I'll jump on. So I think it's tomorrow I'm doing that. So I'll jump on and answer questions for anybody in our DMV group, or honestly anybody out there that's in Subto.
Okay. Maybe you should do a podcast.
It's in the works, more so up here than anything.
Right. That's where it starts.
I just finished building this office. It's actually in my barn. So I got a couple of chairs coming in over here. It's just one of those things where it's like, how do I add one more thing and not go crazy? I need to scale off 2 more things before I can add 1 more to it. So
Gotcha.
Doing one, absolutely, I want to. I think it'd be fun, but for right now, it's just posting my daily videos. So I post on social media of my day-to-day stuff, whether I'm doing retail, whether I'm doing investing. Uh, Most of the stuff are just short reels under a minute of, hey, I'm at this house doing this, or hey, check this. Lately, it's been check this problem out at this flip I'm working on. So, but I post 5 or 6 days a week, and I have for 4 years.
Oh, that's great.
And thank you. So I've gotten business from that. I've gotten clients from that. But ultimately, it's just, get out there and do it. Take the action. Because I look at it and I'm like, I'm boring. Nobody wants to follow me and see what I do on a daily basis. My average video probably has like 150 views, which, it's not earth shattering or anything but it's also a very tiny niche space of people who are actually interested in real estate, and then also people who want to follow me. So, I'm beyond grateful for it, but, and it's something
maybe it's just not getting in front of a bunch of people, because I'm getting ready to reassess everything here as I'm growing and expanding.
Right.
And it might just be SEO. It might just be something,
Right.
what I mean?
I remember talking with you about that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but our community is growing, and if there's nobody else, there's definitely people in this community that want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. So now the podcast it's hopefully coming soon, but there's no groundwork laid for it yet. It's more still just a thought and a hope at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some ideas for you too, so we can.
I will have to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, we can talk after the show.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so I saw your meetup that you hold in Mount Airy, which Mount Airy houses one of my favorite wineries, by the way.
There's plenty of them out here. Yep, there's plenty of them out here.
Yeah. So you have the Power Hour.
Yes. So 2 partners of mine, Brian Poole and BJ Marshall. When I was at the mastermind last June for Subto, that's when I got asked to be the leader for this region here. And I was like, awesome, great, but what am I going to do? And that's when I met the Houston group, and they were doing a power hour, the cold calling session. I came back with that idea, talked to them a couple more times, put it into play. We ran our cold calling group for, I think it was 25 or 26 weeks straight, shut it down for November, December. We were getting ready to ramp up again for January. Had to find a new location. And then ultimately people were just kind of fed up and really did not want to cold call. And with all the technology out there between AI and virtual assistants, there's plenty of people out there that still do it and do great at it, don't get me wrong. But it's not something that people really get excited about. So we shifted of just more of a open networking group, bring your problems, bring your deals. And it's been incredible since we made that switch. So we're going into I forget whatever week it is this week, but
the second Saturday of the month, right?
Yeah, so we're doing twice a month. We're trying to do every other month. So first to be every other week, and we're going to rotate with the Okamoka group down in Arbutus towards Baltimore. I'm working with the leader down there, Esther, and they already have a bunch of stuff planned. So realistically, a few more months, and then we're basically just going to be kind of switching off.
Like this
so that way we're helping promote each other, but also, and I'm still going to go to theirs. They come up to ours sometimes. So it's just more of the community and getting more of the community people together. But our power hour is open to anybody, not just Subto.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I finally was able to make it. I had been wanting to get up there for a while, and I was finally able to make it. Was it last week or the week before?
It was 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Pace just happens to have a bonus Zoom, right?
That's right.
It's like an
You
hour
were
drive.
required in the bonus. Yes.
Yeah, it's like an hour drive up there, and I'm driving, I'm listening to stuff on the way, and I kept getting all these texts, and they're like, "Pace is on, you're missing it," blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh, what? I'm driving, guys."
Right.
And it took me for a little while to they're like, "This is really good. He's dropping some bombs. You should try to, listen." So, like, I was in the car for a good bit there before I came inside. But
Yes.
yeah, I really like the location. I still got some good stuff by the time I just kind of cut it off when he started answering questions. I'm like, all right, I got to get in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we loved having you, and we love the venue. It's beautiful, Fry Brewing, up off of Route 26. It's beautiful, and ultimately it's quiet because they don't open generally until noon, and they let us come in and host our power hours from 10 to 12.
That's awesome.
And we're
Like,
not,
I'm kind of bummed out.
so
Huh?
we're not forced out of there. Our last one, I guess, 2 weeks ago, I think I was there until almost 2 o'clock, just hanging out, networking, talking deals with people that were there. So, we plan it for those 2 hours, but clearly it can go long.
Yeah, it's a nice country drive. I'm kind of bummed out that once the weather starts breaking, I'm not going to be around to put the top down on my car and take a nice
Really not. Gosh. But that's another thing we like about it, because they have a huge outdoor space as well. So once the weather gets nicer and warmer, we'll just go hang out outside.
Yeah. Oh man.
They have great coffee. They have great brunch stuff. And I haven't had anything else on the menu, but their coffee and brunch is really good.
Yes, I had some while I was there. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to have to time my visits back here to see family and stuff around when you're having the meetup.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so that I can pop in, especially if it's going to be like nice and outdoors or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome.
We'd love to have you back.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that pretty much does it. If you have deals that you want to bring to Chris, here is what he's looking for right now.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us about that. Tell us about your buy box.
So Cleveland to Columbus, obviously that's the area I'm working on right now with all these flips. And I have my team already built out there for contractors. I've already built my money partners, but I teamed up with Matthias Holden out of Cleveland, who is also just outside of being an awesome human. He's a contractor, has a great crew. So I teamed up with him on these flips.
Is he Subto?
He is Subto. He's actually the Cleveland regional leader.
Okay.
So, and I've always liked the Ohio market, and now I like it even more because I have a crew. But he lives in Cleveland. The crew lives in Cleveland, but they travel, within reason. They'll travel anywhere that we need them. So that's the Cleveland to Columbus area. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, it's only about 90 miles north from me. So if it comes to it, I can send my crew up there if I need anything done, because it's not that far. But I've also built a team up there. I have a great agent, and he has some good contractors that he recommends, refers. And then obviously here, Hagerstown is only about 40, give or take 40 minutes from me. So there again, I already have my construction crew if I need anything there. But ultimately, my long-term goal is to own about 300 long-term rentals doors, whether it's a mix of singles, multifamily, stuff like that. Cash flowing $300 a month each. After that,
nice. Have you ever thought of midterm rentals or?
I got involved in 2 of them. And because I'm changing up my corporate structure, I'm actually getting out of them. But I'm ended up just going to be a lender for them.
Okay.
Because of the way I'm changing my corporate structure and everything. So it's so
your niche is too
one really bad.
What was that?
With the midterms. One has been going great, one not so great. So I don't know enough about them, but I never got really deep into them because I was really just the equity partner. So the inner workings of how they work, I know like Tech, Tanisha, one of my partners, Cece, that's their bread and butter, and they know
Right.
ins and out. So, no different than, especially as realtors, hey, call the expert. I don't have the time or honestly the desire to learn all of it. So it's more or less, hey, if I
Not
can
your
make,
niche.
no, it's not my niche. So, but I know people whose niche it is. So if I buy something and it's a good long-term rental, but it'll be a great midterm rental, then I'll just hire them to manage it. And then we all win.
There you go. That's
So,
it. That's another great thing about the community.
yes.
There's somebody that in every single niche, and then more niches being made up every day, but there's somebody in every niche that if you don't know enough about it, you can partner with a person that is their niche
Yeah, absolutely.
and work together.
So
Yeah.
you don't have to know everything. You just have to know the right people.
Yeah. So 65% of ARV minus repairs for your flips, right?
More so just cash deals, even if it's going to be a long-term rental. And the main reason for that is because it keeps the cap well enough under. So once I do a DSCR refinance to pay off my private lenders, then it still leaves me plenty of equity where I can either pull some equity out, get some tax-free cash, or just keep a lower payment on everything.
Gotcha. Okay. And if you would like to get a hold of Chris, this is how you do it.
Yes, indeed.
These are your two main-
Instagram, I'm really really active on. YouTube, I'm currently working on building, but I've been focusing on it pretty good.
So
But
Instagram is where you're on the most, right?
Instagram, I'm on the most. So, but I'm also building up YouTube. So as that gets bigger, then I'll spend more time over there.
Yeah, you can kind of do both at the same time, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, I post the same content across pretty much every platform. I'm getting to the stage now of where YouTube, I'm putting a lot more longer form content on, which ultimately is what the platform is designed for. Their shorts are great, but that's more of an Instagram thing, at least in my eyes.
Right.
So I'm doing, I'll do a 30 or 60-second clip on Instagram, and the end just says, hey, go check out my YouTube channel for the full video.
There's categories now. You got your long term, then you got your clips, which is up to 20 minutes, and then you got your shorts, which is like, and reels and stuff, which is like a minute or less.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's always changing. I think it's always going to change, and honestly, it's just fun playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta, change with the times.
Yeah.
Right?
And trying to outthink the algorithm, it's impossible, but it's fun trying to figure it out.
Yeah. As soon as you learn it, it changes.
Oh yeah. No, as soon as you're like, oh, I got this, the next day, the next video just bombs. I'm like, nope, I don't got this.
Right.
Anyway. But I mean, no different than anything, just be consistent with it. So, I mean, that's one of the first things I knock out in the morning. It's, it's one of those things that I enjoy doing, but it's one of those things that also just has to be done. So it's one of the first things I do just to get it done off my plate, and then I can go tackle the rest of the day.
Right. Yeah. And you do so well with those flips and stuff.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Once I get settled in, I might even want to do some with you.
That would be awesome. I would love to have you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
No, I appreciate you having me on. This was awesome.
You're welcome. And thank you guys for stopping by. Let me see. Make sure, if you can, to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. It helps the channel grow. And after I get moved, I'm going to be doing some upgrades here.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. and I'll share my knowledge with you.
I think I'm more excited for that.
You're what?
I think I'm more excited for that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. And hang back after the show and we'll talk a little bit more. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Bye, guys.